Hi, my name is Rick, and I'm going to explain how I've maximized my students' learning experience by using products like Kaltura to store videos, Blackboard so that my students have an LMS to work with. I've used Camtasia Studio to build most of the videos. I've also used Photoshop CS6 and Premiere Pro CS6 to build some of the videos, along with, of course, PowerPoint, which is the backbone of most of the classroom instructions these days. I've also used a Sony camera and a Plantronics headset to build my videos. The videos themselves are of classroom lectures, software application instruction, publishers' concept materials, subject matter experts speaking, and other resources, and they're all geared to let my students learn outside the classroom. So I've done it for 6 particular courses. Each one of these has a prescribed number of videos that the students have to watch. My educational philosophy on technology is really simple. Technology should support good pedagogy to enhance the student's learning experience. That I've found works really, really well with the flipped classroom concept, which I'm going to explain in the rest of this video. But technology is essential in supporting the flipped classroom concept. It doesn't work without it. So what motivated me to get started? Well, the first thing I saw in my students was they don't complete the class. They've got limited exposure to the subject, so they may learn most of it, but not all of it. But the other characteristics had to do with the digital generation, which I think is fairly unique. They're all connected all the time. They want material available to them 24/7. They want to learn whenever and wherever they want to. Most of the time, students want personal interaction of some kind with other people, so they get in chat rooms and things like that. Even though they're not there in the classroom, they're busy with the other people. Most of them have a very short attention span. It's gone from 17 minutes down to 8 minutes now. Because of YouTube and other things like that, the video content is more important than the quality. And they all have very, very full lives. 79% of our students have full-time jobs. So the traditional classroom then has a paradigm where students come to my class and they look at me and I look at them, and we interact and we share information, and I tell them what I know, and I tell them what the book tells them in many cases, and they are there to learn. They take notes, they scribe, they sometimes interact together, but most of the work that they need to do is going to be applied at home when they're alone. They will do all their homework or their exercises and problems when there's no one there to help them. That's not necessarily the best model. Oftentimes at home too, the atmosphere is such that they don't have a lot of concentrated time to do that. Harking back to Bloom's taxonomy, classroom instruction is very good at remembering and understanding the subjects. Not a problem doing that. The students get it. They actually understand that that's what class is for. So they memorize things, and they're sure to be able to write down the whys of things. And in my case, they're able to do the keystrokes. But there's a better way, and that's called a flipped classroom. So in the flipped classroom, the teacher records and posts the video lectures or subject matter expert talks or publisher content in lieu of doing all the lecturing. The students then view the content before the class on their own computers or mobile devices, wherever they happen to be, using whatever they want to. The students spend time in class actually applying, analyzing, and evaluating the work that they learned in the videos. So a model of the flipped classroom starts at home, where they actually begin to absorb the content. They watch the videos. They can watch them any number of times. They can watch them in the order that they'd like. The students then are able to take that instruction that they got online and bring it to the classroom. Now, normally I'll start off with a comprehension check of some kind, so that they come to class and there's a quiz. So we get the quiz on the facts. And then we spend the rest of the class time not listening to another lecture, but actually applying what they learned at home, reinforced by the quiz in the classroom. And then working in a group, they can take that information and put it to use. They can actually see what they're doing and why. back to Bloom's. Now in the classroom, we're not just helping them remember and understand, because they're doing that with the videos at home, but they're actually applying, they're analyzing, and they're evaluating the information. They're actually creating, in many cases, a project or something like that, which shows their skill in using the new material. At that point, the classroom then becomes the problem-solving lab, and guess who's available during that time? Me. So the flipped classroom speaks the language of today's students. Basically, it's a connectivity language. It's a language that says, I can do this anytime I want, anywhere I want. And they're constantly online. Flipping helps the busy students because they can do this anywhere. It also helps the struggling students because they have the ability to go back and watch the videos over and over again. It actually makes the classroom instructor more available as well. Flipping helps the students with English as a second language because they don't have to copiously take notes and translate all at the same time. Flipping allows students to pause, rewind their professors, which some of them do over and over and over again. It also allows the professor to leverage the technology. Flipping allows the teacher to know their students better. This is the best part for me. And we all know that students continue in the course because of their relationship to one another, so it increases the student-to-student interaction as well. Flipping allows for real differentiation.
This constant battle of not reaching the needs of all students and feeling the need to differentiate for all of my learners allows teachers to feel overwhelmed and ineffective because we see the need for differentiation, but there's just not enough time for effective differentiation. This called for a drastic change in how we teach. This is where flipping the classroom comes in. Now the students outside of class preload the content. They get the information they're going to need for class. They can pause, rewind, and rewatch the videos as many times as they need to. They can post questions online to their classmates or to the teacher. And it's a self-paced program where they can be remediated by going back and reviewing former topics, or they can work ahead when they've already mastered a concept and are ready to look forward. They get the content here before class so that when they come into class, my whole classroom has now shifted, where I'm at the center of the class, working between these differentiated groups, focused on different pieces.
Flipping the classroom also causes classroom management techniques to change. For example, I've got much more cooperative learning going on, with people interacting in small groups, taking responsibility, developing social skills, having that group accountability plus the individual accountability. Flipping addresses absenteeism as well. How do I implement it? Well, about 60% of my classes are flipped, which means I make the lecture and record the lecture, take it home, and then match it up with the PowerPoint slides or with the videos on Camtasia Studio. What it looks like to the students is a video of the lecture with the PowerPoint slides and the questions and the comprehension checks and everything, but they view it at home. Then in the classroom, we spend time actively working on the evaluation and the analysis. We plug numbers into examples. We actually do the problem or use the knowledge that they learned in the videos the night before. This is what my classroom schedule looks like in a normal lecture classroom. The icebreaker, then a review time, then we've got the lecture material itself, and then at the end, we usually have some kind of group activity or working on the homework or something that cement that knowledge in. But you notice that's only about 15 minutes long. In a flipped classroom, I've got my icebreaker, my Q&A, which is sometimes a review, sometimes it's a quiz, depends. And then we've got the entire 70 minutes in an hour-and-a-half classroom left to work on the problem, to actually thrash out the meaning of it, to give them some depth in working with the numbers and understanding the concepts and putting them into practice. This is the practical part of working in that flipped classroom environment. The results? Well, in the 2011 Flipped Conference, the results were pretty amazing. They noticed that 50% of the students in English were either dropping out or failing. They dropped that to 19%. 44% of the math students were flunking or dropping out, and they dropped that to 13%. Those are pretty hefty results. I've seen the same in my classes. Students rarely drop my classes. So where do I get the videos? Well, there are a lot of sources. First of all is the publisher.
Welcome to the new edition of the Systems Analysis and Design textbook from the Shelley Cashman series. I'm Harry Rosenblatt, and I'm proud to be on the team that brings you these great books.
In this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what Dreamweaver is, and equally importantly, what it isn't. In technical terms, Dreamweaver is an Integrated Development Environment, or IDE, for building websites.
Hi, this is Joyce Farrell. This video takes a quick look at flowcharts and pseudocode.
Other professors also supply great content for my classes, some of which I can't reproduce as well as they can, so I utilize their talents.
Hi, this is Gail. Today we're going to create a person application that uses object-oriented programming techniques and also a graphical user interface to display the data for a person. The information that we're going to store in our person class is going to be the person's first name and last name. A common way to display information is to use a UML diagram.
The biggest thing I can use is the SMEs, or the subject matter experts, that are online. They've posted their stuff for us to use. In many cases, it's much better than what I can produce. All you need to do is get their permission to use it.
Hi, my name is Erica Olson. In this whiteboard session, we're going to talk about mission statements. So what is a mission statement? Your mission statement answers the question, why you exist as an organization, or more importantly, what is your organization's core purpose?
At last resort, I'll make my own. Hi, this is Rick. Let's write a for statement in SFC. First thing I'm going to do is start my program and come up here to View and change it to generic style pseudocode. Then I'm going to go to the hotspot and we're just going to put in a for statement so you see how to do that. So how do I make these videos? First of all, you have to use objectives. Secondly, I use Camtasia Studio 8. Studio 8 requires a little bit of training, but not much. It does take some time, however, to produce a good video. I use a video camera for my live presentations. I use a little Sony. I will also use a whiteboard and fresh markers if I need to do it on the whiteboard. I also may use my microphone that I have. Good sound is very, very important. In fact, you'll find out that students will complain about the sound before they complain about the video. Oftentimes I'll use a webcam on the Mac to capture my lecture. So let's go into some detail about how to make a video. The first thing I do is plan the lesson carefully. So I use one objective per video. That means the videos are going to be from 3 to 7 minutes long. Just one classroom objective. That's it. The nice thing about that is your book is already broken down into objectives. So is your curriculum. Then I have to make some media decisions. Just how exactly am I going to get the content onto the video? In many cases I do it with a screen capture, such as Camtasia. Then I may use it as a whiteboard lecture. I can use a smart board, but I'm going to set up the video camera or the webcam to actually capture that off the whiteboard. In many cases, my experts want to talk into the camera, then they become my live action experts on camera. And then PowerPoint, of course, is the bark and trade of what we actually do in the classroom as an audio visual. So I'll record the video, in other words, I'll teach the lesson, and then I'll edit the video with Camtasia or Premiere Pro, and then I'll publish it through Kaltura into Blackboard for my students to use. Now, I've learned some things about students in doing this. First of all, they love videos that are short. That's short attention span. They like it when your voice goes up and down, and if I make a mistake, I just admit the mistake and go on. They think that's great. I create videos with another professor many times because we can carry on a conversation and communicate. Students like it when I keep it light. I always introduce myself at the beginning, and most of the professionals you've heard do that. I always add annotations. I'm going to show you that in just a second. I add call-outs, and I do pan and zoom all through Camtasia Studio. Hi, this is Rick. The first thing we want to do is go out and get CodeBlocks, which is the compiler we're actually going to use in this course. So I'm going to triple click in the address bar and type in www.codeblocks.org. And I'll press enter. So we're going to start by going to the download tab, and we want to get the binary release. You'll notice that it will give it to us for Windows, Linux 32, Linux 64, or the Mac. They all look and act exactly alike, so no matter what platform you have, you can get the one that applies to you. For Windows, I'm going to scroll down here, and I want to go get the CodeBlocks 10.5 MingW setup.exe. The big important thing is it contains everything. It's got 74 megabytes of download. Be sure to keep it copyright friendly. Get permission to use all the stuff that you don't originate. And then let your students test them. They love to do that. They want to show off and they want to be critical and stuff like that. Let them have them. It only does you good in the long run. Now here's some limitations I've learned. First of all, there's a real time commitment to this. The preparation ahead of time gets to be laborious. You can't just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do this right now. In other words, you've got to plan it through. You've got to make it, and then you've got to edit it. And it may take me 45 minutes to do a 10-minute video. That's why other people's stuff is so much better than mine, because I don't have to do it.
Content, I can challenge him. In the old system, I had to kind of shoot for the middle. Now I can actually have all the levels shot. Every kid kind of gets a different education, and I think that's okay. My name is Jonathan Bergman. I'm a teacher, a father, a husband. I'm a triathlete, and I love Camtasia Studio.
That's the reason I use other people's stuff. See how good that is? You may get some student pushback, but a lot of times you get student buy-in.
Hi, as you can see by the frost on the beard, I'm old school. So the last time I was in college was many, many years ago. And basically you went to a class, you heard the lecture, you took as many notes as possible, and then you had to study from your notes in the book. And you always wish you could replay that lecture all over again because there's probably things that you missed, and you can't take up too much of the teacher's time in his private office because basically you get the why didn't you pay attention in class. But now he can say everything in class, you can write the notes down that you need to know and hopefully remember by. But you're going to get that day where it's like if you don't look at them for 2 days and then look at your notes, you go, well, what did that mean? With the videos, you can go back, you can find out what that means, you can play as many times as you want till you finally get it. Because a lot of times in class you want to hear it again, but you feel embarrassed about them repeat it over and over and over again. So this is an excellent tool. I wish I had this then. I'm glad they have it now, and it is invaluable in my opinion.
Be sure to start small. I started with one class, and I took just one track of that class, just a portion of it, and put it on video. The other thing I discovered was that now that I had 70 minutes to apply the material, I needed something to do in that 70 minutes. So plan on extra exercises, plan on extra analysis, challenge those students. So what do I want to do with this in the future? Well, the first thing I'd like to see is iTunes U incorporated in it, because that way it's actually device specific. iTunes U is responsive and it gives you the right resolution for the right portable device. And then you can also include written material in it. Camtasia now has the ability to insert a quiz inside the video. And I'm still experimenting with that, but I'd like to try more. I'd like to do more videotaping of experts. Those folks who know it all and whose presence in class is really beneficial and really influential, but they need to have the availability to come to all the classes. With the video they can. And then I want to see student-generated content. I would love to see students take their phones, go on a field trip, bring it back, edit it in iMovie or something like that, and then post it on YouTube for approval.
First off, I just want to say Rick French is phenomenal as a teacher. I'm in 2 intro to computer courses, one being a graphic design course and one being a programming course, and neither of them are really intro. And the fact is there's so much information, and it's stuff that you can't see one time, and learn it, and you just have to see it over and over and over again. And with only being one teacher and however many students that need to repeat this stuff, the videos, the slides, his Blackboard presentation has made it so simple to where he has the time in the classroom to be one-on-one and hands-on with us as students, because he has freed up his learning time or his teaching time by teaching so much on the computer that we are able to get him one-on-one and hands-on, because we can learn everything we need to learn and go back and relearn with just what the presentations that he's made for us on the computer. So it has been really beneficial, and every teacher should follow it and learn from it, and make everybody's life more simple. Okay, the end.
Hello, I'm Gail Garrick, and I teach computer programming classes and introductory courses to our students here at Florida State College at Jacksonville. And within the last year, we've been using the flipped classroom model, where we have videos available to the students that give them a preview of the information that will be covered in the classroom. And it frees up our time to do more problem solving, actually using the software and solving problems in the classrooms. I really like the availability of the videos for the students, because they can use them as references. If they've missed something in the class or forgotten a step, they can go back to the video and replay it as often as they need to. They can find that missing step that they often prohibits them from completing assignment.
My name is Rick French, and that's how I use innovative technology to enhance my students' learning experience.